and welcome to Learn with Hema's class. My dear students, my last video was on phrases and its kinds, but today I shall extend that topic to cover up clauses and its kinds. A very important topic in your language study and a sure shot question in your exam papers. This topic, clauses, sometimes create fear among students, but believe me, after watching this video, you shall be ever confident while answering questions based on clauses. So here we go. Now clauses are basically of three main types, that is noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. Again, adverb clause is divided into 8 kinds, that is manner, time, place, reason, result, comparison, consession and condition. So these are the 8 kinds of adverb clause. Now let's learn about clause. A clause is a group of words that contain a verb and a subject of its own, and it can be a part of a sentence or a sentence by itself. Therefore, it's very simple. About phrases, when we learned that phrases do not have a finite verb. Neither it has a subject nor a predicate. But if we talk about clauses is also a group of words, but a clause will contain a verb and a subject of its own. Now, a clause can either be a part of a sentence or the sentence itself. Examples: it is the truth that girls and boys are equal. You can see the highlighted part over here. The highlighted part are all clauses. The girl who is wearing the blue dress is my sister. The doctor arrived after we had called him several times. Now, if we just see the highlighted parts, that girls and boys are equal, who is wearing the blue dress, after we had called him several times, none of the sentences over here, the highlighted part I am talking about, none of the sentences over here can make complete sense in themselves. They depend on the main clause. For example, in the first sentence, it is the truth. This is the main clause. The second part depends on this first part, and therefore this is a subordinate clause. Who is wearing the blue dress doesn't make sense, but if we complete the sentence, the girl who is wearing the blue dress is my sister, it makes a sense. Therefore, again, a part of the sentence is a clause. The doctor arrived after we had called him several times. The doctor arrived when, it answers, after we had called him several times. So this second part depends on the first part for its complete sense. Therefore, here these clauses are your dependent clauses, or you can call them as subordinate clauses. Now, clauses that makes complete sense on their own are called independent or main clause. Now, one example is given over here. Rama was taking photos and Gitanjali was painting. Now, both these sentences are underlined. Rama was taking photos. This sentence in itself is complete, whereas Gitanjali was painting. This sentence also in itself is complete. So these two sentences, though they are different and combined with a conjunction and, they both make complete sentences. They don't depend on each other for their sense. Therefore, each of the sentence is said to be a main clause. Because and is a coordinating conjunction, therefore, these two sentences are combined using and they make a compound sentence. Now, there are many coordinating conjunctions such as and, but, or, for, nor, yet and so, or by correlative conjunctions like either or and neither nor to form compound sentences. If we want to form compound sentences, we can use coordinating conjunctions, which are just given. Now, clauses that cannot make complete sense on their own and depend on the main clause to make their meaning complete are called dependent or subordinate clauses. I just taught you in the above example, I just taught you same thing, that those clauses which depend on the other part of the sentence for their meaning are said to be dependent clauses. Again, one more example is given over here. You are already a champion in my eyes, whether you win the competition or not. So the second part, the highlighted part, whether you win the competition or not, this is a clause because if we take this highlighted part individually, it doesn't make a complete sense in itself. It depends on the first part to make a complete sense. That is, you are already a champion in my eyes. And also have a look that the two clauses are divided with a comma. So, right? You are already a champion in my eyes, comma, whether you win the competition or not. So, this we complete our clause. This is a sentence with a subordinate clause and the main clause. So, the first part is the main clause, the second part is the subordinate clause. Now, for subordinate clauses, basically we use the subordinating conjunctions, that is because, although, though, when and before. Or sometimes we also use relative pronouns like that, which, who, whom and whose. We have to use these conjunctions to make our sentences complex sentences, and in complex sentences we can easily find our subordinate clauses. Now, types of clauses. Clauses can be of three types: noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. I already said you this thing. Let's learn about noun clause. Many a time students find it difficult between noun clause and adjective clause. But don't hassle, it's very simple to understand and find out whether it's a noun clause, adjective or adverb. Now, noun clause performs the function of nouns in a sentence. They usually act as the subject of a sentence or the object of the verb. They can also act as the object of the preposition or as a complement. Some examples are given over here. Just pay attention. That he is irritating is true. Now here, what is true? I am asking the question, what is true? And the answer is that he is irritating. I am getting the answer for what? So, that he is irritating is the subject of the sentence. Therefore, it is the noun clause. It is used as a subject of the sentence. I am sure that he is capable of completing the project on time. I am sure of what? Right? I am asking again question of what? That she is capable of completing the project on time. Now here this is used as an object, but it answers what to your verb. We did not know whether the rumor was true. What we did not know? I am again asking what we did not know. Whether the rumor was true. Again we are getting an answer for what? And this is also used as an object. Piyush's problem was that he had missed the last bus to the city. What was Piyush's problem? Again I am getting an answer. It was that he had missed the last bus to the city. It's a complement. So, we are talking about Piyush's problem. About the noun we are talking, therefore it is a complement. But in all the four sentences, we are getting an answer to the question what? Though our sentence, our clause starts with that or whether, it doesn't matter. When we are getting an answer to what, it is a noun clause. Grammar bite में you can see noun clauses are usually introduced by that, if, why, how, what, whatever, when, where, whether, which, whichever, who, whoever, whom and whomever. Now all these are subordinators. They may be used for adjective clauses also, or they may be used for adverb clauses also. But if they are answering to the question what, to the main clause or to the verb, then they are noun clauses. It's very simple. They should answer the question what and you get your noun clause. Now next is adjective clause. It's very simple again. Adjective is something that describes your noun. Therefore, adjective clause performs the function of adjectives in a sentence. They modify the noun or pronoun in the main clause. So, noun or pronouns are modified The girl who is wearing a fur coat lives in Shillong. So, who is wearing a fur coat? It modifies the noun the girl, or it tells more about the noun the girl, and therefore that is an adjective clause. An adjective clause is really very easy and very simple because most of the time it contains a relative clause in it. Relative clause means a word or subordinator that immediately after the noun tells about the noun. It comes immediately after the noun and it tells you more about the noun. For example, my first cousin whom I love is leaving the city tomorrow. So, the noun is cousin and whom is a relative pronoun or a relative subordinator, we can say relative pronoun. This is used as adjective clause. From this we can understand that this is adjective clause. So the girl who is wearing a fur coat lives in Shillong. My first cousin whom I love is leaving the city tomorrow. So who is wearing a fur coat? Whom I love. From these two things we can make it out that this is an adjective clause because these relative clauses comes immediately after the noun and they tell us more about the noun. So adjective clauses are preceded by relative pronouns. See, it is written over here. Adjective clauses are preceded by relative pronouns. That is, we use relative pronouns who, whose, whom, which, that, or adverbs when or where. Sometimes we use adverbs also. But whatever it is, if it tells us more about the noun, or if it starts just immediately after the noun and tells us more about the noun, then that is your adjective clause. He is the king who lives in a glass palace. Now it tells us more about the king. So who lives in a glass palace is your adjective clause and who is your relative pronoun. This is the town where I was born. Where I was born is the adjective clause and where is the relative pronoun for town. I hope that was clear, very very clear. Next is adverb clauses. Adverb clauses modify the verb, the adjective or the adverb in the main clauses. Now adverb clauses, as I said, there are 8 different kinds of adverb clauses. So adverb clauses many times they modify the verb, they tell us more about the verb. Sometimes they tell us about the adjective or sometimes they also tell us about the adverb in the main clause. Though there are 8 different kinds, it is not very difficult to find out which adverb clause it is because every time we have some subordinators, fixed subordinators that tell us which kind of adverb clause it is. So types of adverb clause, will go directly to the type of adverb clause. There are some examples. The doctor arrived before the ambulance left. So before is the word which tells us when. The match was postponed because it was too hot. Because is something that tells us reason. The umpire called off the game though the players were willing to start. This tells us something about concession. Now we shall be doing each in detail. Types of adverb clauses. Now various types adverb clauses I said. Let's start with the first one. Adverb clauses of manner. Now manner is something that describes how the action is done in the main clause. Right? How? We ask the question how to the verb or to the action performed. These are introduced by subordinating conjunctions such as, like, as if. So it's very simple. Manner. If you read a sentence, you come to know that this is adverb clause of manner because you come to know how the work is done. She did as he had been instructed. How he did? As he had been instructed. So asking the question how to the verb or main clause. She ran as if her life depended on it. How she ran? As if her life was dependent on it. So again you can see how it is answering the question how. So if you want to learn adverb clause of manner and if you get an answer to how, you find your adverb clause of manner. So there are subordinating conjunctions which are normally used for adverb clause of manner. They are like, as if. These are the only words which we can use for adverb clause of manner. Next, adverb clause of time. Now time describes when the action in the main clause takes place. So when it takes place. These are introduced by subordinating conjunctions such as when, while, before, after, since, as soon as. All these adverbs which we are going to use, all these subordinators, they always tell us when. So when, if you get an answer to when, you get your answer to adverb, that is adverb clause of time. When the baby saw the colorful ball, it reached out for it. When the baby reached out for it, when the baby saw the colorful ball. She stood up to greet me as soon as she saw me coming. When she stood up to greet me, as soon as she saw me coming. So again we are getting an answer to when. Next is adverb clause of place. What it is? Adverb clause of place describes when the action in the main clause takes place. Right? Where the action in the main clause takes place. Where means place. So the words which are normally used while introducing adverb clause of place are where and wherever. That's it. If any of the word come in your sentence and the clause is there starting with this word, you can make it out that this is adverb clause of place. Wherever Mary looked, she saw trees and rolling fields. So wherever Mary looked, okay, she saw. Where she saw trees and rolling fields, wherever Mary looked. So you get an answer for where. The partygoers gathered where there was music. Where do the partygoers gathered? Where there was music. So you get an answer to where. So for this is your adverb clause of place. And the subordinators normally used are where, wherever. Next is adverb clause of reason. Reason means we have already been doing give reasons, give scientific reasons, give historical reasons, give geographical reasons. So reasons means it tells us why the particular thing has happened. So it tells us the action in the main clause occurred. Why the action in the main clause occurred. These are introduced by subordinating conjunctions such as because, as and since. So these are the conjunctions which are used when it is adverb clause of reason. He passed with flying colors because he had studied sincerely. Why he passed with flying colors? Because he had studied sincerely. Madhura switched on the air conditioner since it was hot. Why Madhura switched on the air conditioner? Since it was hot, she switched on to air conditioner. So you are getting an answer to why. Therefore, it is adverb clause of reason. Next, adverb clause of result. Now, many students get confused between reason and result. Now, make sure reason tells us why the action in the main clause happened. But result will tell us the result or consequence of the action in the main clause. What result or what is the consequence, what is the effect you can say, and they are normally introduced by the subordinating conjunctions such as so, that and such that. Right? So, adverb clause of result show the result or consequence of the action in the main clause, and they are introduced by subordinating conjunctions such as so, that and such that. Now the rain fell so heavily that the roads got flooded. So what was the result? Why the rain fell so heavily and therefore the roads got flooded, right? So here also we are getting the answer for why only, but it is telling us why means it is telling us the effect. This second part is the effect of the first part. The first action have taken place and then the effect have taken place, and therefore it is the result. Therefore we call it the result. The dogs barked so loudly that the entire neighborhood wake up. So what the effect of barking dogs was the entire neighborhood woke up. So this is result. Now adverb clause of comparison. Comparison again, when we see positive degree, comparative degree, superlative degree in the sentences, we say that there is adverb clause of comparison, and degrees we all are well aware of. As, so and so as, these are the words normally used. Examples: Rajesh is no less kind than Ramesh. We have the word then. So here we come to know it's a comparative, but we don't have to mention whether it's comparative or positive or superlative. We just have to write that this is an adverb clause of comparison. The sage is as wise as time itself. As wise as, it's a positive. So sage is as wise as time itself. This is a positive adverb clause of comparison. Or just write adverb clause of comparison. Next is adverb clause of concession. Now concession, you can see in concession, when you see the two parts of the sentence are in opposition. That is, what the one part is saying and what the other part is showing is totally opposite in nature, and therefore we call it as adverb clause of concession. So let's read. Adverb clause of concession are used when the action taking place in the main clause is in opposition to the action in the subordinate clause. These are introduced by subordinating conjunctions such as although, though, even, if, and even though. So these are the only words which are normally used for adverb clause of concession. So from these words also, that is from these subordinators also, you can come to know whether the sentence is adverb clause of concession. That is though, although, even if, even though. Right. Although the sun was up, there was darkness all around. You can see, although the sun was up. The sun is up means it should be bright. But here it is saying there was darkness all around. He missed the flight even though he left 2 hours ago. He left 2 hours ago, but still he missed the flight. So both the things are in opposition to each other. Therefore, these are adverb clause of concession. Also, you can see the subordinators. The first sentence starts with although and the second clause starts with even though. Now, last one is adverb clause of condition. Adverb clause of condition explain on what condition the action suggested in the main clause will occur. है ना? If you do this, I will do that. So condition is mentioned. These are introduced by subordinating conjunctions like if, unless, in case and provided that. शर्त रखना, basically हम कह सकते हैं शर्त रखना. That is adverb clause of condition. If it rains, we will have to return home early. Condition है, अगर रेन हुआ तो हमें घर जल्दी जाना होगा, अदरवाइज नो. He will go for the film provided that he finishes his course. फिल्म पे कभी जा सकता है अगर वो अपने काम खत्म करे तो हमारे पास एक कंडीशन है, राइट? एक कंडीशन है तो ही आप दूसरा काम कर पाओगे, इसीलिए इसे कहते हैं एडवर्ब क्लॉज ऑफ कंडीशन. नाउ नॉर्मली ये जो एडवर्ब्स है तो कुछ वर्ड्स जो इंट्रोड्यूस होते हैं हर एक के लिए वो यहाँ पे लिखे गए हैं, तो आप जस्ट देख लीजिए, एक नज़र डाल लीजिए. इट विल बी मोर ईजी फॉर यू. सो इफ़ यू वॉन्ट टू शो टाइम, you need to have when, while, before, after, since, as soon as. These are the words normally used for adverb clause of time. Adverb clause of place बताने के लिए where या wherever, these words are used. Adverb clause of reason बताने के लिए you have because, as, since. Adverb clause of effect जो कि result भी है और consequence भी है. हमने already result किया है ऊपर, we have done result, which is same as consequence also and which is same as effect also. तो अगर आप adverb clause of effect लिखो या adverb clause of result या adverb clause of consequence कुछ भी लिखो, वो तीनों एक ही है. and we use so that, मतलब so dash 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 बीच में कुछ आएगा words and then that. purpose के लिए भी हम so that ही लिखते हैं. condition we use if, unless, provided that, just अभी हमने पढ़ा. कॉन्ट्रास्ट के लिए ऑल्दो, इवन इफ, इवन दो, जो हम कंसेशन जो बोलते हैं. कॉन्ट्रास्ट एंड कंसेशन आर वन एंड द सेम. टू शो मैनर वी यूज एज इफ एंड टू शो कंपेरिजन so or so as. These are the words which are normally used. So I hope this was enough for you to understand the clauses in a better way, and this would help you in your studies. Till I come with the next chapter or next topic, stay safe, stay secure. Thank you.